Hi everybody, this is MVK. I have 25 years of experience, worked around 15 countries, managed and also recruited thousands of resources. Currently I'm working as a director in one of the big four companies in Dubai. Please subscribe, share and also like this video. Hello everybody, this is MVK. Today we'll talk about background verification. Yes, background verification and reference check. What is background verification and reference check? Why companies do that? Let us go in detail. Recruitment. If you are getting onboarded any company, one of the primary process or activity which HR will do is background verification. What is background verification? Usually as part of recruitment, what happens is you as a candidate will be representing that you worked for so many number of years in so many projects with so and so salary, right? Obviously you will be mentioning you might have worked with Accenture, you might have worked with Reliance, you might have worked with various other companies over the duration, correct? You might have worked with Dell, you can take number of companies. So over the year you might be working for various organizations and obviously your experience is the matter for the recruiting company because based on that they are giving you offer. So for justifying that, usually all companies, 90% of the companies, big MNCs will do the background verification. Background verification check happens across the globe. If you are there in US, if you are there in Europe, if you are there in Middle East, if you are there in India or Asia or any other country, usually background verification check is a mandatory task. Of course, there is one more word which is used by the industry, that is reference check. We will also touch that. But Asian countries, especially if you are in India, and also the companies which are Asian as well as IT based companies, they do background verification check rigorously. Whenever you get an offer from a company, you are required to fill the background verification details, meaning you need to give your last employer and also all previous employers details, the contact person, their contact number, email ID, your role as well as your salary drawn in that particular organization. These are the major things will be checked in the process of background verification. Let us take an example. Assume that you got an offer in Accenture in Hyderabad, which is in India. When you get an offer for a particular role, what Accenture HR team will do is, as part of onboarding, they will ask you, in fact, they will send a link to fill your previous employment details. You are required to fill all your previous employer details such as your employer name, your duration of employment, your role, what you played in that particular organization and your last drawn salary. These are the essential items which you need to fill in that particular background verification form. Few companies ask for last 5 years, few companies ask the entire life. It depends on the organization to organization. I am not sure on Accenture, but depends on organization to organization it will change. Let us assume that Accenture asked for last 5 years. So whichever companies you worked for last 4 years, you need to fill the data. Once you fill this data, you need to declare that whatever information which you given in that background verification is right and also correct as per what you know, right? That declaration is must, because that is the base for getting a job in Accenture. Once you fill that particular information, This particular form usually will reach out to a third party. Usually Accenture or any big IT companies will not do background verification by themselves. There will be a dedicated vendor or a subcontractor in the market who will do the verification. Once the form reach to the Accenture, wherein the employee filled and declared, the Accenture will initiate background verification through vendor. Vendor will receive this particular form. Based on the information which you provided, vendor will reach out to all the employers whom you referred in your background verification form and cross-validate whether that information is right or wrong. Usually, they will send an email to the employer, the previous employers. If there is no response, usually they will even go to the extent and call them. But majority of the cases, it happens over the email. Whatever information which you given, they will put that in that particular background verification and send it to the respective companies. Let us assume that you mentioned that you worked in Dell for 3 years, you worked in HP for 2 years, then this information will be going to HP as well as to the Dell, to the email ID which you provided. Sometimes there may be challenges where the information provided by you, especially the email IDs, may not be working properly. Then they will reach out to you and ask for the right email IDs. So it is you as a candidate need to provide right email IDs. You don't need to be panic because this is an ongoing process. They will get you back if there is any corrections need to be done in terms of contact details, but make sure you don't cook that information what you given in that. Obviously they will check your previous employer information, your salary details, as well as your position what you played. Usually not projects check, because projects will have confidentiality. No company will check what kind of projects you've done in the previous employee, neither employer will give the project details. Usually it will not be given. Only the designation matters, your salary matters, your duration matters. These are the 3 major important factors which you need to be very much careful while giving. Okay, so be careful on that. Based on this information, these particular sub vendors or subcontractors or vendors will reach out to the previous employees and get that information. If it found correct and if it is matching, they will give you a pass. Otherwise, if there is any queries to be there where there is mismatching something, then they will raise a query. Then your future or the prospective employer will ask you certain clarifications where you need to give clarifications. This is the process of background verification check. Apart from background verification check, there are one more commonly done activity, that is reference check. Usually if the reference check done, background verification will not be done. Either one will be done. Reference check is the other mean where it is similar to the background verification, but rather than you are giving your complete employment history or a specific employment history, reference check is something where you will talk about more on your performance and also the person or the people with whom you worked with. You can give your colleague email ID number, or otherwise you can give your reporting manager number. Like somebody whom you worked in the previous organization, they can give you a positive report on you. Usually this happens where they want to check how you worked in the specific implementation, a support project or a functional role. All these areas they want to cross verify. So in such case, what they will do is they will ask for the reference check. In US, majority of the organizations usually ask more on the reference check rather than the background verification, until otherwise if this is typical IT organizations or MNCs. But otherwise, you will see more reference checks. In Europe, more or less it is same. Okay, so these are the major activities which will be done when you are joining in an organization. So be cautious, give the right information, and make sure your onboarding or joining into any organization done smoothly. Hope this is useful for you. Looking forward to meet you in the next video. Thank you.